Want to get your students excited, motivated, and engaged with reading? I'm going to show you how you can do that through an interactive fiction app, and we're starting right now. Hi, everybody. I'm Lee Hall from Literacy Teachers, and I'm all about helping you inspire, motivate, and change how your students read and write for academic success. Today, we are really going to take a look at how you can get your students, and particularly your male students and students who have had a negative history with reading, may think that it's hopeless, they're never going to find anything that they want to read, like to read, can read. I'm going to show you how you can start to turn that around with an interactive fiction app. This app is called Delight Games. I've also done some research on it. What I'm going to do is show you what the app looks like. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the benefits of at least recommending this app to your students. So we're in the Delight Games app. You can tell it's got some background music that's going on here. And what you're going to see as I scroll through here is that there's different series. So there's Wizard's Choice, there's Demon's Choice, and these all have different, books that are a part of the series. And you have to finish the first one before you can go on to the next one. So this is Rogue's Choice. And actually, when I got in here, I went ahead and I'm going to reset it and start over. You can see what it looks like from the beginning. And in the beginning here, you can see it's got a little summary. It does start off with a content warning if you have any concerns about what kids are going to be reading. And so you can see here, this is quite, a nice little bit of text. And you also get like some life points, some gold, some morale points. I think actually this is with any morale points. You can earn morale points as you go through this. And then when you get to the bottom, there's a choice. And as a reader, you have to decide what choice you want to make. So for me here, I elected the first one, which was buy them around and spend some gold. And that takes me to a page with some shorter text. I have another follow-up question. I have to make a choice. And all of this is designing the story. And obviously, I'm going to have to live with the consequences, of my actions. And so that's what this really looks like. And it just sort of keeps doing this. Students are presented with text. You've got your choices to make. Those choices give you specific outcomes where, like, for example, your gold might increase, your morale might increase, my life points might increase, or any of that based on the decisions that I'm making, right? Any of that can decrease, right? As you can see here, my gold recently decreased by 12, but my morale increased by 1. I made a decision where it cost me some gold, but it made me a little bit of a better person, right? So these are all the things that students are grappling with as they are reading the text and they're having to, live with the outcomes. So why do they like this so much? So Delight Games is incredibly popular with teens and adults. And what I did, because I am a literacy researcher, what I did was I contacted the designer, the creator, Sam Landstrom, and I asked if I could do a study to better understand what is it that makes this game so popular, okay? And through about 500 surveys and, I can't remember how many interviews, the minimum, about somewhere around 20 interviews of youth and adults, and also looking at online reviews, here's what I can tell you about the benefits of using this app. Now, keep in mind, when I say using this app, I'm not suggesting that you have it, that students can read it, that you should assign it, but it is something that you can recommend. And obviously, there are content warnings for some of this, so it is really intended for students age 13 and up, but not all students, not all parents are going to be comfortable with some of the content. So keep that in mind, but there are content warnings for each one. Now, what is it that makes this game so popular, and why am I saying that you should recommend it as an app? So first of all, one of the things that that users report with this app is that it allows them to connect with engaging text. And so this happens for a couple of reasons. Number one, there is a pocket of users with Delight Games who they love to read, they identify as readers, they consider themselves lifelong readers. A huge percentage identify themselves that way, but they've had a really hard time finding books that they like to read, okay? And then some of them had kind of given up. And so what this app did for those readers is it gave them text that they found very engaging and that they enjoyed reading, and that they see it as a game. They'll call it playing, right? So they enjoyed playing these games, playing these stories. So for your students who just are like, oh, I can't find anything good to read, everything stinks, this can be a way to bring them back into the fold. Now, there was a really small percentage of people in this study, less than 10%, who never liked reading, who always said reading is really hard, was always hard for me in school. I never did good at it. I never thought I could do good at it. And for whatever reason, they picked this app up and they tried it. Okay. It looked interesting. They thought, I'll give it a try. And what they found was that they really liked it too. And they found it to be engaging and motivating and something that they wanted to keep and continue reading. So it'll work well for your students who are strong readers but have kind of disengaged. And also, this app seems like it'll work well for students that really just have struggled with reading in school. This can provide them with a really nice positive experience around reading. Okay. So that's one thing. Now, the other thing that's interesting is that users really viewed this as an interactive game. Okay. So even though what you saw, it looks a lot like traditional text, right? I mean, there are some pictures throughout, but it looks a lot like traditional text. Yes, you make a decision and then you go on. It looks a lot like the Choose Your Own Adventure books if you grew up in the 80s when you read those books. It does have a lot of similar qualities and a similar feel to it, okay? But I don't know if it's because it's online, right? If it's because it's an app, but users definitely talk about it being a game, okay? And they talk about being addicted to playing this game. So really they are addicted to reading these books, all right? They love them. So if you want to get your students hooked on reading, this is an app that can do that. Now, there were three other reasons why users also use this app. It helped them to better understand themselves as individuals. It helped them examine how choices affected story outcome, and it allowed them to analyze the stories to become better writers. So users in this, when I was examining why people were so excited about this app, why they used it, there were people that talked about how it helped them better understand themselves as individuals. They thought about and reflected on the decisions that they made, right? And the moral and ethical implications and why they would or would not make particular decisions and what that meant about them as a person, okay? The other thing is that some people really just like examining how the choices affect the story outcomes. And I don't mean that they just like the fact that they get to choose. This particular pocket of people goes a little bit deeper than that, okay? And they actually like to sort of think through how, a particular choice, how they can weave it through and see how particular choices really shaped and developed the overall plot, and then how the story ended, right? They're really paying attention analytically to how these choices are shaping things. And these are your people who are more likely to go back and reread and make different choices to see how those different choices enhance the plot, shape the plot, influence it, and provide a different ending. And then finally, there are people that they are writers themselves, okay? And one of the things that this interactive app does for them is it allows them to analyze the stories to become better writers. So they can look at how they will also look at how choices affect plot and outcome, but they will take away from that what it means to structure these particular kinds of choices and how these particular kinds of choices have meaning for what the writers, create, construct, set up, et cetera, after that. So there were teenagers in my study that were looking at these stories to think about what can I learn about writing and how can I apply that in my daily life as a writer. All right, so Delight Games is a great interactive fiction app. It's recommended ages 13 and up. It is a great app to get your students inspired, motivated, and engaged with text. Connect your students with books and get them and keep them reading. So if you like this video and you want more, follow me on over. We're headed to the next one.